Looking for the king of podcasts? You're at the wrong channel. Looking for good ideas for life? You are far from good hands. If you think the listener is always right, you are far from the right place. Hosted by a Northeasterner by birth, a rebel by choice. If you want a host that floats between love and madness, then play on and listen to Crazy Train Radio.
What up? Excuse me while I whip this out. Oh, gnarly! Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes. And good evening, friend.
Not all football helmets are created equal. Zenith, the industry leader in protective technology, is the only helmet in the game with adaptive head protection featuring a shock suspension system that can move independently from the helmet shell. Headquartered and developed in Detroit, Zenith is committed to player safety and revolutionary innovation. Zenith is proud to protect athletes at every level from Pee-wee to the pros. Learn more about the Zenith difference at zenith.com. That's Xenith.com.
What's up, Doc?
I'll tell you what's up. Based out of Atlantic City, New Jersey, Geek Time Entertainment runs exclusively along with different events in the area to strategize with their partners who will benefit with increased exposure and patron traffic.
Oh, gnarly!
Geek Time Entertainment will work with your event in increasing the event's traffic via social media, radio, and storefront advertisements.
Holy cow!
Also, they will help increase business for your company and event with different sales incentives.
Duh.
Whether your event will be small or even mid-scale, Geek Time Entertainment is the group to work with.
That's what I'm talking about.
Contact them today at geektimeentertainment@gmail.com or facebook.com/geektimeentertainment.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Hey wrestling fans, this is Gary Michael Capetta, and you're listening to Crazy Train Radio.
Folks, this lovely lady on the line now has really made her impact, or made an impact on her notch of the music world. You know, she is a Jersey native, or was a Jersey native, and graduate in guitar performance from Berklee College of Music. You know, she started performing at the tender age of 21 in the live music sector. Her new single, Bump, 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 which is going to be on her upcoming album, Believin Is Seein. Re Mattei. Re, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great. It's great to talk to you. How are you?
Good, good. Can't complain on our end here. You know, nobody listens anyway. So, first and foremost, let's go there. Bump, bump, bump. What can you tell us about this single?
Well, I'm very excited about this single. I produced it with Bart Pursley, and he's done Big and Rich and Gretchen Wilson and a lot of people. Bump is about a girl that, you know, she went through a bad breakup, and how the music actually empowers her to get through it and to move on with her life. And I've always seen music very empowering in my own life, And so I've been through some very difficult times in my life, and I always feel like music has been what's gotten me through those hard situations. So it's very empowering. It's upbeat. You know, it mentions Carrie Underwood and Miranda Lambert because I feel like they're very strong women figures in country music. And I feel like it gives women hope and a voice and a very empowering, you know, strong song for women. And then too, I think it's very, it's a fun song to listen to and to dance to.
Well, you know what we're going to play right now. What better way to describe? Here's Bump, Bump, Bump.
Woke up after 7 years in an empty cold bedroom. Lawyer's fees, shattered dreams, all that's left of you. Turn up my favorite Carrie song. Gonna undo all you done wrong. Hear the beat going bum, bum, bum. Hope this song won't ever stop, stop, stop. Feeling stronger now with every song. Guitar's good and loud, drown your memory out. All I need is a bum, bum, bum. Tore up your pictures, threw them all away. Took off my wedding band, watched it circle down the drain. Now Miranda is my vibe. She gets me through another night. Hear the beat going bum, bum, bum. Hope this song won't ever stop, stop, stop. Feeling stronger now with every song. Guitar's good and loud, drown your memory out. All I need is a bum, bum, bum. There was a time I shed a tear, would cross my mind. I'm done, I'm through, I'm over you, so done, so through, goodbye. Hear the beat going bum, bum, bum. Hope this song won't ever stop. Hear the beat going bum, bum, bum. Hope this song won't ever stop, stop, stop. Feeling stronger now with every song. Guitar's good and loud, drown your memory out. All I need is a bum, bum, bum. All I need is a bum, bum, bum. All I need is a bum, bum, bum.
All right, coming out of Bump, 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 that great single on the new album that's being finished up here, Believin Is Seein. Re, would you say the whole album is in the style of Bump, Bump, Bump here?
Not exactly. I mean, Bump is very contemporary country, and I guess that would be how it would be classified. But there's also inspirational kind of songs in there. Believin Is Seein is a very inspirational song. And I've got a few songs that are a little more rooted in traditional country. So there's a little bit of a variety. I think it keeps the same kind of theme throughout in regards to melodically with the music and the sounds. But I feel like there's a variety on there for people. And I think different people may resonate with different songs more than others.
Okay. Well, you know, you bring up an interesting topic, and I've heard this recently, exchanging some emails and whatnot, and texts and whatnot, with some pretty respected country artists. And I'm not trying to stereotype here, but what you mentioned in your answer made me think of this. you say contemporary country, then traditional country and all, it seems like the genre, and I hate categorizing things, but the genre of country music is changing. And it almost don't feel like it's what most people would think of country to be. Do you see a change in the genre? And do you think it has that pinpoint of what metamorphosis that the genre is?
That is a great question, and it's funny that you asked that because I've sat in and listened on panels recently with a lot of professional people, from producers to songwriters, and everybody kind of has a different answer on this. Country music has changed somewhat to the point where it sounds so pop. You know, a lot of the tracks and everything, if you took out the voice, a lot of times it would cross more like a pop song and crosses over. And there are some people that say traditional country is kind of making its way back, and then there are others that say that will never happen. But I think, you know, being in Nashville right now, I am seeing a wave of people that are kind of going back to the roots of country with some traditional country going on. And someone had said on a panel, you know, they really felt like we'll never see traditional country back the way it was before, and that's probably true, but you just never know. I think music is a lot like clothes and fashion. Sometimes things come back around full circle. So I think that there's a lot of country that doesn't sound very country anymore for what people, especially people like me who grew up with parents who listened to very traditional country like Johnny Rodriguez and Tommy Cash and Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings, you know. Yeah. It is definitely different. And even my single is more on the line of rocking out a little bit more. But some of the stuff on the new EP will be more, have flavors of that traditional coming through. And I love the traditional also. You know, I don't want to ever totally abandon that because I think it's so much of what made country, you know, what it is, you know.
Yeah, and the reason I asked that question, not only because of, and I'm not going to drop their name publicly here because the conversation wasn't fully meant to be public, otherwise we would have did an interview and whatnot. But it made perfect sense when that whole thing, because you got, say, the traditional country of Cash and Jennings and Hank Williams Sr. and whatever the case is. Then you saw in the early 80s a transformation to somebody who started all, I think, of that generation, of Randy Travis with 1982. Then you have the guys like Garth and Alan Jackson and Clint Blacks, and you know, then you see, like you mentioned there as well, the kind of a pop feel, late 90s, early 2000s, who I think ushered it in, maybe like a Carrie Underwood, a Faith Hill, and such. And that's why right now in 2017, you're not sure where it's trying to reinvent itself, if it makes sense.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's like we're not sure. And if I had mentioned the names, you know, these folks have credibility, if that makes sense, in their genre.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it's somebody talking out both sides of their mouth there. But anyway, what part of Jersey are you from? Because we originally are from the Northeast, myself and whatnot.
Oh, really? I'm from Trenton, New Jersey, and
okay.
I was there till I was 18, and then I went to school in Boston, and I still love going back up north to New Jersey and New York. New Jersey was so cool because it was so close to New York City and Philadelphia, and my parents would take me in and see musicals, and you know, I just think it was a great location to be in for to see a lot as growing up as a child, you know.
Yeah.
So it was really neat.
And I've been close to Philly most of my life, literally stone's throw across the bridge. But half hour north from me. But it's, like you said, there's just so much. If you want to take a couple hours south, there's D.C., a couple hours north, New York. 10 minutes west was Philadelphia. There's just so much in the Northeast that, it's a unique bird in its own.
Yeah, it's great to talk to someone who's from my neck of the woods, actually.
And I get, I would get your personality, just your dialect, everything. So, I would totally get that, which is, like you said, it's refreshing to when you can mention certain things.
Yeah,
so,
it is.
What'd you say? I'm sorry there.
I said, yeah, it is. It really is. It's almost like a taste of home when you talk to someone else who's from the same area,
Yeah. Well, obviously I have your contact info, and we'll see about getting you some things from the area, shipped down some tasty cakes and whatnot. Whatever.
Awesome. I would love that.
Yeah, but we can talk about that off the air. We'll figure that kind of stuff out. But, because, I will say this about Re, which I was surprised when we set up the interview and a few others that were done this week. She was so cool and reached out herself personally to say, hey, I heard about the booking and looking forward to it. And, she was doing her research, which was cool. So, and it was nice of her to reach out prior to just today. But you had when I did it all, reading of some notes and making whatever, you moved to Music City in the early 90s. Did you move down there right after college, or what was your story going down there?
No, actually, it's kind of interesting because I had a publishing deal in Nashville when I was at Berklee. A guy heard my stuff and liked it, but I didn't actually live there at the time. And I ended up going on the road right out of Berklee because it was like 2 weeks before graduation. I thought, oh, what am I going to do? Am I going to end up back home in New Jersey? And what am I going to do there, And I had a note in my mailbox at my school that there was this audition for this all-female band. And so I learned some songs, some Cyndi Lauper stuff, and all. They like to do a lot of 80s and everything. So I went ahead and auditioned for it, and they hired me right then and there. And we had a agent that was out of Orlando, Florida. And so I went on the road for like 3 years with this 7-piece female band. And then I came to Nashville for maybe, I guess it was 6 months. And then I went back out on the road again. And then I ended up deciding that I needed to stay in Nashville. I was actually performing out somewhere in the Midwest. And an agent that booked the Opryland Hotel heard me sing. And he said, if you ever move to Nashville, call me and I'll book you. And that's how I ended up coming to Nashville.
Well, it's interesting. And I was talking to another country artist who's known, who's a friend of the show. And because I hooked him up with, not the stereotype, a genre, pop, teen pop from the 80s, whatever, but she's still in music. And she happened to have moved to Nashville and all as well. So we're talking, and he's telling me about different things, what's going on, and how hot, I guess you would say, the Nashville area is. In terms of, you see, over the past couple of years, such an influence of people wanting to live in Nashville, whether it's musicians, or in the area, I should say, whether it's musicians, whether it's comedians, whether it's actors and actresses, and there's the way it was being described. It's just such a infusion of life, in the area, like a re-energizing. You've been there a while now, but what have you noticed any changes in that region lately?
It's crazy changed. It was so funny because I remember I was down at this place called the Blues Bar on Demumbrium Street, and I used to live off of Demumbrium Street back when there was hardly anything there. Like, when I lived there, I always wished there was more there. And I remember sitting there listening. It was a songwriter's night. I was listening, and I look out the window, and there's someone waving to me in this building. I didn't even know who they were, but it was my old apartment complex that I used to live in. And I was like, oh, my gosh, but it has now, it's so many venues now compared to what it used to be, more places to play, and that part is good. But to live in downtown Nashville now is phenomenal, like the amount of money that it costs. They say, like, even to go and to get a high rise or even to stay at a hotel in downtown Nashville is like more expensive than New York City now. And it's amazing the change. Some of the changes are really neat because they've cleaned up a lot of the areas and put some really neat restaurants, and it's a lot more artsy than it used to be. So that part is kind of neat, but it's become so expensive. A lot of people are moving further out because it's gotten really expensive to try to live there.
Okay. Well, Re is definitely, and as you heard there, with Pump, Pump, Pump. The rest of the album will be just as good. I would assume not you take the quality of your product very seriously. But for folks, if you're going to go see her and all, or get her previous music, and or Believin Is Seein, this new album, she is definitely a must-see entertainer with a soulful voice and such energy. If folks want to follow you on social media and look at purchasing some of the music and whatnot, where can they find you at?
They can find me I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then I have my website, which is www.remattei.com. Those are probably the best places to find me. And then my new single will be available on all over, Apple Music and Spotify, Pandora, starting September 15th.
Yeah, so go to her website and you can get all the links for that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Good. Re, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I really had a great time. I appreciate it.
With over 30 years of experience and a superb reputation for being a detail-oriented company, Lacey Cleaning has some of the highest work standards in the cleaning business.
That's the fact, Jack!
Whether it's carpet cleaning, tile, grout cleaning, new construction cleanup, rental turnovers, vent and duct cleaning, odor elimination, office and or business cleaning, power washing, residential cleaning, you name it, they do it. Check them out. To contact them today, laceycleaning@gmail.com or call them at 609-709-8536.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, this is April Hunter, and you are listening to